Hello, Homestead. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence.
From Homestead Media, this is HHS In-Depth.
Welcome back to HHS In-Depth. On today's show, reporter Emma Munoz gives us a look at our school's yearbook program and why you should consider joining next year. Then Jackson Foxworthy introduces us to a Homestead student rock band set to release a new album this spring. Later, Matthias Arizmendi shares the story of a student author working to get her book published. And finally, we'll take you behind the scenes of our performing arts program in a new edition of Behind the Curtain. All this and so much more only on HHS In-Depth.
It's Friday, January 31st, and thank you for joining us today on HHS In-Depth. I'm Mara Nicholson.
And I'm Braden Graff. And Mara, for it being the last day of January and your birthday, for it being winter, it's surprisingly warm outside.
I know. Every time I go outside, I feel like I can take my coat off again and I can finally breathe.
I know. After rehearsal last night, I was able to walk out in a t-shirt.
Oh, I just hope that these warmer temps stay around and we don't go back into the negative weather again.
Well, luckily for us, weather reporter Carly Swimeller is in now to tell us if these temps will remain this weekend.
Yes, and these beautiful temperatures are definitely here to stay. Coming into this weekend, we're in for some warmer temps, with the high today reaching 44 degrees, but with winds coming from the northeast at 11 miles per hour, it's going to feel cooler than 44. Rain is also expected throughout the day, so make sure to grab your rain jacket or umbrella before heading out. On Saturday, temperatures take a dip, with a high of 36 degrees under partly cloudy skies. The east wind at 9 miles per hour will add up to the crisp feel, so bundle up if you're spending some time outdoors. To wrap up the weekend, Sunday warms up significantly to 51 degrees, but don't expect much sunshine as cloudy skies will dominate the day. Wind shifts from the southwest at 13 miles per hour may bring a bit of breeze, which keeps things feeling mild. I'll be back later to let you know if these warmer temps we are seeing are on the horizon for next week. Carly Swimeller, HHS In-Depth.
And now we go beyond Homestead.
On Tuesday, the White House announced a freeze of the federal aid budget. This redirects funds to priorities like border security, defense, and infrastructure under President Trump's America First agenda. This move affects domestic welfare and international aid programs, sparking a fierce debate in Congress. Supporters argue the freeze is fiscally responsible and focuses on strengthening national security. Senator Mike Johnson calls it a necessary step to put American interests first. Critics warn it could harm vulnerable communities and reduce global aid. Representative Emma Carter said this decision abandons those in need and weakens our international role. Lawmakers now face budget negotiations over the freeze's impact. In other news, the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles are headed to the 59th Super Bowl after decisive wins in their respective championship games. The Kansas City Chiefs claimed their Super Bowl ticket by skillfully beating the Buffalo Bills in a tight game ending in a score of 32-29, while the Eagles advanced to the Super Bowl after destroying the Washington Commanders 55-23. Both teams now prepare to clash for the second time in 3 years, this time in New Orleans on February 11th, promising for an exciting showdown for the NFL title.
Thank you, Mara, for some news outside the walls of Homestead. Choosing classes can often be anxiety-inducing, and many of you may not know exactly what classes to pick for next year. Today, we're taking a closer look at how the yearbook class offers a unique opportunity to dive into creativity, teamwork, and memories that last forever. HHS In-Depth reporter Emma Munoz is in now to tell us more about it.
If you are in grades 9 through 11, scheduling classes is not as far as you might think. Many of you may be struggling to find a class within the jungle of options given, but for the select few who want an extra class, Yearbook's Period 0 class is given to any of those who can get there.
For the first time ever, Yearbook was a 0-hour class, meaning that it meets before first period starts, so its starting time is at 6:45 a.m. and it ends at 7:30 a.m.
Many students are glad to have the opportunity to be a part of something bigger.
I think Yearbook benefits students in a variety of ways. There's a lot of different skill sets that you get the opportunity to learn and practice. There's graphic design, deciding where the text is going to go, where photos are going to go in that layout.
This gives students a chance to see a different part of what takes place in school and be immersed in Homestead culture.
I think that students should take this class because it provides a unique opportunity that I don't think you get in other classes, because you are essentially creating a product that people are paying money for. So it's not something that is necessarily free. It's something that people are choosing to purchase as a keepsake that they're going to hold on for a very long time.
Don't miss this chance to be a part of something truly special. Whether you're a budding journalist, a photography enthusiast, or simply just looking to add to your school's legacy, the Yearbook Period 0 class welcomes you. Emma Munoz, HHS In-Depth.
Thank you, Emma, for the story. We'll be right back on HHS In-Depth.
Welcome back to HHS In-Depth.
Attention seniors, Homestead Student Government is offering a $500 scholarship to one lucky senior from the class of 2025. To apply, write a 500-word essay answering this question. What was the most meaningful course you took at Homestead, and why? Make sure to include your name and a title for your essay. Submit it via email to Senior Peeper at the email address shown here by 2:40 p.m. today. Don't miss this opportunity to earn a scholarship and showcase your Homestead experience.
Speaking of scholarships, new ones, including many specifically for Homestead High School seniors, have been added to the HHS scholarships page online. One example is the SABRE Scholarship, a 4-year renewable award exclusively for a Homestead graduate. To learn more about this and other opportunities, visit the Homestead High School website today. To get to the scholarships page, click the guidance tab and scroll down to see scholarships.
As you know, this past Monday, both Homestead and Aboy Elementary were unexpectedly and abruptly closed. The situation stemmed from a water main break off campus that many of you probably saw Fort Wayne City Utilities crews working on during your drive to school. The water main break affected schools supplied by pipes on the west side of Homestead Road, like Aboy Elementary, as well as the Central Maintenance and Transportation Facility, which all lost water. Meanwhile, schools like Summit and St. Elizabeth's, located on the east side of Homestead Road, were unaffected because they are supplied by separate set of pipes. Here at Homestead, our building's second floor water storage provided enough gravity-fed pressure to keep water flowing initially. However, by the early morning, it became clear the pressure was dropping and wouldn't sustain operations throughout the day, particularly for preparing lunch for students. School leaders made the decision to go remote learning for Homestead and Aboy Elementary just before 7 a.m. Thankfully, city crews quickly resolved the issue, restoring water pressure to all affected buildings by noon. No further issues have been detected since.
Are you interested in government, politics, debate, or just looking for something you put on your college application? If so, then you might want to consider being in the We the People class returning next year.
So the way it's going to work is that it used to be a class in the past, but it was one of those where you took We the People and then you would transition into AP Government. Now this year, bringing it back is as long as I have enough students sign up, what's going to happen is that they're going to stay with me all year long. They're going to come into my class and we're going to focus on the first half on We the People, and we're going to work in elements of AP Government. And the second semester is solidly getting you ready for the AP test. We the People is a national competition where students from all over the country get together in at first regional and then state competitions, and then possibly national competition, to where they're getting together and they're wrestling with constitutional issues. They're wrestling with ideas of suffrage and First Amendment rights and how that applies to the 21st century. But it also kind of looks back at what happened, in the past with the founding of the country. It's kind of all over, and it's a great kind of program and a competition that's really geared toward the people who are interested in government and law and politics.
This is an amazing opportunity for aspiring lawyers, politicians, or even those aspiring to be better public speakers. Make sure to tell your counselor about adding this class to your schedule during your next year meetings this month, or contact Mr. James at the email address below if you have any further questions.
Rock music fans, get ready to discover the next big local talent. A hometown band is making waves in the music scene, and their unusual journey might just surprise you. HHS In-Depth reporter Jackson Foxworthy joins us with a story of how these local musicians are turning heads and cranking up the volume.
As you can see behind me, many students are busy enjoying their lunch and talking to their friends. However, some students are busy planning their next concert. A group of Homestead students, who call themselves Sundays as a band, have been touring around Fort Wayne for quite a while and plan on releasing an album very soon.
Since I have work, the band, and a job, we just have a scheduled day for practices, and then there's like an occasional Saturday that we play a show, and then on breaks try to get more than one show.
But Ty and the rest of Sundays don't just stop at making music. By regularly releasing, they seek to engage potential young fans here at Homestead and across Fort Wayne.
The main thing I want people to know is that it's okay to be different. There's a lot of people in the music scene that can feel like outcasts, and then you go to shows and stuff like that, and then a lot of the bands will reassure you, make sure you know that there's a place for you, and you can feel safe in that space.
Ty and the rest of Sundays are going to be releasing their album very soon on Spotify, BandLabs, and other platforms. If you want to learn more about the band, you can check them out on Instagram at Sundays Fort Wayne. I'm Jackson Foxworthy, HHS In-Depth.
Thanks for the story, Jackson. Writing a book is no easy task, and many never complete the process. But one Homestead student is on her way to getting her book published. HHS In-Depth reporter Matthias Arizmendi joins us now to share more of her story.
Many people dream of one day writing and publishing their own novel. Well, Kendall Craig, a student here at Homestead, has made that dream into a reality with her book, School of Shadows.
The basic premise is there's this species called Shadowborns, and they're the only people who can do magic. And the story follows a young Shadowborn kid who finds out that he's the one who's supposed to save his town.
Some find it hard to really enjoy reading and may just even stop entirely once they are not required to by school. So when did Kendall's obsession with books begin, and what made it stick around for so long?
I have been a reader since I was probably in kindergarten. I've been a big fan of fantasy novels specifically for all my life. I think it was the Young Authors competition that my classroom had in elementary school. I created my own characters for a little story I wrote, and it got me to realize how fun creating a story is.
After hearing how hard Kendall worked on this, it makes me wonder what challenges she faced and how she finds motivation to keep working.
Finding focus, like being able to sit down and focus on writing for a long period of time, that's always tough, and I feel like that's a universal experience for a lot of writers. But I'm usually able to overcome that by taking a few minutes to relax and do something else, or alternatively, taking a few minutes to just write the worst version of the story is a term that a lot of authors like to use.
Kendall plans on making some sort of social media to post art or any kind of updates regarding her book, so stay on the lookout for when those are made. Matthias Arizmendi, HHS In-Depth.
Thanks for the story, Matthias. In Homestead Athletics news, congratulations to the Homestead girls basketball team who won the SAC championship last night at Northrop. This is the girls' first conference title since 2022. They finished their regular season with a 22-2 record and head to postseason play starting next Friday, as Homestead hosts the sectional right here at the Spartan Arena. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more HHS In-Depth.
don't be expecting too much sun as we head into the rest of the week. Monday will be 41 degrees with thick cloud cover, keeping the day feeling cold and gray. Tuesday cools down slightly to 37 degrees, but we'll see partly cloudy skies offering a brief break from the overcast conditions. Wednesday brings a high of 40 degrees with even more cloud cover settling in, making for another gloomy day. Thursday will have a chance of showers rolling through with temperatures around 43 degrees. Carly Swimiller, HHS In-Depth.
Next week on HHS In-Depth, reporter Kaya Noem brings us a story about Rose Holman's tutoring resource. Be sure to catch that story and more next week right here on HHS In-Depth.
Welcome to Behind the Curtain. I'm Madison Rosine. This week is full of exciting events for the Homestead Performing Arts Department. The Homestead Show Choir will be performing its first competition at Northrop High School. You can catch them in action this Saturday, February 1st. Be sure to show your support to your fellow Spartans Show Choir members. Jazz One competed in the Purdue Jazz Festival on Saturday, January 1st. They placed second in their room with a 98, 96.5, and a 96 from 3 judges. They won Best Trumpet Section and Best Rhythm Section, and guitar player Anthony Tomaszewski won an Outstanding Musician Award. Jazz 1 and Jazz 2 perform at DeKalb Night of Jazz tonight. Jazz 2 performs at 6:40 p.m. and Jazz 1 at 9:35 p.m. Winter Guard will be having its preview night at 7 p.m. this evening in the Victory Gym. To kick off their season, tickets will be $5 each. Congratulations to the JV and varsity dance teams on the terrific results, with the varsity teams getting first, second, and fourth in jazz, pom, and hip hop. The JV team got first place in both jazz and hip hop, and a ton of Spartan dancers won awards in ensemble and duets. Come and watch your Spartans dance this weekend as we host the 27th annual dance competition tomorrow. This wraps up the past few weeks of performing arts, so be on the lookout for more performing arts news on the next edition of Behind the Curtain. Madison Rosine, HHS In-Depth. Mara, Braden, back to you.
Thank you, Madison, and thank you for watching our show today.
Make sure to follow our socials to keep up with the latest news from Homestead Media.
We'll see you back again next week for another edition of HHS In-Depth.
Have a fantastic weekend, Homestead.